can't have that. Welcome to me, I guess. I don't know. We have a show for you today, and we've got Mr. Colt Eastwood in the house. Why do I have this on? I don't know why I have this on, but it's echoing. Do you hear it?
Say it.
Starfield.
Yes.
Starfield. Yeah. No, I'm going to
say exclusive, and then we'll go.
Exclusive. No, let's just go. Anyways, let's go with it, guys. We are here. We are a two-man party. We are not two men stuck in the 80s podcast. We're not going to be talking about the TV guide today or Who's the Boss, the latest episode. Poor Angela,
or the Regal
right?
Beagle.
Yeah, no. Or the Regal Beagle. That's right. That's what it says. Anyways, let's get into it. Games Talk Live, guys. We're here today to talk about Xbox, right? And I don't have my chat up real quick. Yeah, if we had more to talk about PlayStation today, we would definitely be doing that. But unfortunately, I don't think we do.
Spoken.
Oh, Forspoken. Yeah, you know what? Did you play the demo, by the way, of Forspoken?
No, nobody even compelled me to do so. I didn't hear anything good.
Did somebody, wait a minute. Boba, hold up a second. Boba in the chat just mentioned something. Oh, he mentioned Reading Rainbow. And I have something for you, Boba.
I love it.
You don't have to take my word for it. There you go. See? Got everything for you here. This is the 80s podcast.
Gosh, you are crazy.
Anyways, yeah, Forspoken. I played the demo. I didn't play the updated demo. I guess they updated it, and I don't know. They made it from crappiest to crappier. So a little bit better, I guess, but the game, I'm sorry, people, it's just not very good to me. It's just not. It's not fun. The world is pretty empty, and when you do come upon some enemies, I put it on the hardest difficulty, and they were still not really attacking me much. It was lame. They just had like more HP. That's what it did. Anyways, I didn't find it fun. Even the combat just wasn't fun. Fun speculation. What's up, brother? What's up, Mav? I see you in the house. He says Reading Rainbow as well. Everybody loves Reading Rainbow. LeVar Burton was such a great host in that show. And I used to watch it all the time.
And the singer was amazing. Yeah, the theme song. What's up, Fonz?
I told you before the show, I wish I had ZZ Top's Sharp Dressed Man to play for you because, again, he shows up as a sharp dressed man. Love it.
Sunday, I have to wear my Sunday best for the Games Talk Live show.
Yep.
That's just how it is.
You have to. So what have you been playing lately, man?
Oh, I mean, can I say it? I mean, it's going to sound embarrassing, but
say it.
Oh my gosh. I'm playing Mass Effect Andromeda on Xbox because I played it at launch all the way through on PC. And once I said, okay, it's not a Mass Effect game, it's just a space RPG, I've been loving it. And my character freaking looks like a young version of me if I had better hair.
It does.
I've been having so much fun ignoring the horrible, cheesy dialogue, ignoring my crew, which are so boring and I don't care about them, and just going around in the universe and just doing everything. I don't know. I've been having a great time with it. What can I say?
Only way to play that game is with muted. Just mute the game and you'll have a good time.
In fact, I'll say this so we can move on from talking about that for Mass Effect, but I've been loading up the Mass Effect 1 and 2 soundtrack on Spotify on the soundtrack, and then playing it at like 30% volume while I play the game. About half my playthrough, I've been listening to the Mass Effect soundtrack.
Yeah.
The real Mass Effect soundtrack.
Turn down all the music in the game within Andromeda.
I did that.
Turn up the soundtrack, and
there is no music. There's almost no music in the game.
Oh, really?
But we're not here to talk about music in games. But I mean, come on now. Give us something cool.
Let's talk about it. Right? We want some, some good music in games. We want some of that. Yep. We want some of that sci-fi 80s futuristic type music that we've got. Like Cyberpunk had some cool music.
Yeah, they went away from the 80s, like Tangerine Dream, the old style sci-fi music when they went into Mass Effect 2 and 3. The first ones
you have to have heavy synth in the game. You need that synth
really
wave. Yes.
Yep.
Anyways, so you've been playing that, and it's getting you hyped even more for Starfield, right?
Big time. Yeah. Because, Fonz, we're not talking about Mass Effect here on your show, but really think about it. There's only two comparisons that come to Starfield, because there really aren't a lot of main space exploration games or big space RPGs. You have your No Man's Sky, you have Star Citizen, which is like forever in early access or preview. Yep. And you have like Outer Worlds, kind of. You have Outer Wilds. But when you're talking about a massive RPG, you don't really have many options anymore. So Starfield's going to be really special. That's why I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, definitely. No doubt. I want to say what's up too. We've got Boss Mod, Lethal Papa in the house. He's making sure everything is on the up and up in the chat. Fun speculation. Stephen Smith is in the house, and he says, Colt, you just finished your shift at the IRS. That's what you look like.
At H&R Block.
Yep.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And if you hear any snoring, people, no, that's not Forte in the background. That's actually my dog. He's sawing logs right now, big time. Sorry, Forte, but I've been in many party chats with you where you just fall asleep.
We're so boring though. We just put Forte to sleep, and you can't stand being around us.
He hasn't done that in a long time. I have to give him credit. Forte is doing his thing. Shout out to Gaming Forte, by the way. He's been losing a lot of weight and stuff, and doing his thing. He's been up. He's been
looking
wide awake
good as
chats.
always.
Yes.
Yep.
Sexy Gaming Forte. Anyways, we're not here to talk about him. Colt, I'm glad that you decided to come, because I had another guest that was supposed to come, but he couldn't make it. But my good friend Colt stepped up to the plate and said, Bonds, I'll be there. And I was like, thank you very much. So he's almost become like a guy who's part of the show, especially when somebody cancels. You're always that guy that steps up to the plate, and I appreciate you so much for it, man. Good friends, and that's what good friends do.
I mean, you stepped up for me, and we've been.
Yeah, I remember you called me one
2017.
time. I believe you called me one time, like 10 minutes before your show, saying, my guest canceled. I need somebody. And yes, I was there.
There was Fonz.
Jumped right there.
No shirt on. He's like, I'm here.
Nipples out and everything. It was bad. It was terrible. Anyways, let's talk about something right now. Let's get into a topic right away for the people, because they're not here to hear about my nipples or anything else. They want to hear about gaming related topics. Okay.
Yeah.
There was a big shakeup this week. Of course, we know the tech industry has been hit hard. The gaming industry has been hit hard by layoffs. Microsoft, over 10,000 employees laid off. There's been some layoffs at Bethesda and at 343 Industries. And 343 Industries got hit the hardest, I believe, and they lost around 60 people there. And 60-ish or so.
Yeah, out of they have like 500 employees, but a lot of them are contractors, and the contractors wouldn't count as Microsoft layoffs.
But
so
they lost some
people,
they lost some people that have been there for quite some time as well. We're talking 10, 15 years. And also Joseph Staten. Joseph Staten is stepping down. He's going back to his other job that he was at. He's rejoining the publishing team at Microsoft. So he will no longer be there. So for all the people out there, that love the franchise and thought Joseph Staten is our savior of this franchise, all that jazz, he's stepping away. He's going back to his old job. And now I think Pierre Hintz, I don't know how you say his last name. Hintz?
Yeah, Pierre
He's
Hintz.
stepping up. taking his place at 343 Industries. And, you know, I don't know. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about Joseph stepping away?
Joseph Staten is the closer. So his job is done. He's going to go back and do what he does at
He pretty much, so he closed Halo. He killed Halo. Now he's back. His job is done.
Yeah,
people. You heard it from Colt.
I mean, really, if Joseph Staten didn't step in, I think they still would have been in a worse situation. He got in there. He picked, put everything on the table that was complete and snapped it together. And they shuffled everything off the side and said, let's ship what we have that's good. And that's what they did. And now he's going to go back to global publishing. Pierre Hines is apparently behind the closer that came in and got Master Chief Collection up and running when it was so far behind. So Halo's is in a bit of trouble as far as what's going to happen in the future. And that's kind of where that
we'll definitely get into it here. First, I want to get to Kung Fu Hot Dog. Kung Fu Hot Dog said, "My two favorite gentlemen. Love you guys. Thank you very much." He celebrates 1 month of membership here on the channel. Kung Fu Hot Dog, I love your name, buddy. It's awesome. It's awesome. But yeah, so 343 Industries seem to be hit the hardest there at Microsoft. Well, the Xbox division anyway. And from what I'm looking at here is a Halo that many people were feeling that was in disarray to begin with. Now, with Staten stepping down, Pierre taking over, people were speculating that, because something had come out, and I need to preface this by saying that something came out, and I think that 343 had came out and said that they were going to continue to be working on multiplayer or something, and people thought, well, the single player's dead. Something had came out stating, kind of alluding to that, right? So people were thinking that. So yesterday, 343 jumped out in front of everything, trying to get a handle on it, and they said this, Colt. They posted this on Twitter. They said, Halo and Master Chief are here to stay. 343 Industries will continue to develop Halo now and in the future, including epic stories, multiplayer, and more of what makes Halo great. Okay? So this is from the studio head, Pierre Hines. Now, Colt, reading that, seeing that, does this make you feel any more comfortable with 343 leading the helm here of the Halo franchise?
No, there's two reactions to this information from 343 themselves. One is, yes, 343 is going to continue to work on Halo, and they're not going to close the studio. And then the other reaction is like, are you serious? The status quo is going to continue. The studio that has struggled with the Halo franchise for 12 years is going to continue to struggle with Halo for another 12 years. My question is, what camp are you in? I'm kind of in I just thought they would quietly set down the 343 studio and say, this is the Halo studio, but in all actuality, behind the scenes, they are just a support and liaison studio. They will continue to just provide support, technical, animation, whatever that they do, because those people wouldn't be laid off. The whole studio, you don't shut it down, but maybe make Certain Affinity the new de facto studio unofficially up until a certain point. Bands do this all the time. They bring in a guitarist and say, oh, this is our guitarist for hire. And then he's on so many tours. They finally say, all right, Dwayne's with us. He's our guitar player. He's the lead guitar player of the band. He's officially a member of the Mullet Boltons. And I don't know. This is where I think Xbox was totally going to go a different way, because this is their most troubled studio by far.
By far. And you know what else bands do? They break up.
They do.
That's also something bands do. And
take off my Van Halen t-shirt, Fonz. You're going to break up the band.
Oh, do you know that movie reference, chat? If you do, you're cool. You're awesome.
We're so old. Of course, that movie was like 8 years ago, but yeah.
Okay. So we know that they haven't really garnered any new mass fan base since the Halo of old, really. Like with Halo Infinite, you had a bunch of hardcore people coming back to it saying, Halo's back. This is awesome. This is a great game. When they launched, and mind you, they launched incomplete. And you and I and a bunch of other people were saying, please just delay the game. Don't launch it in this state. It's not really good for it. And in hindsight, and I know hindsight is 2020, but looking at it now, we were right, Colt. We were freaking right. Had they waited to launch this game with Forge, with co-op, it would have helped out to some degree. Now, it wouldn't have been perfect because I have a lot of ideas. I think I know what is going on with the franchise, and I'll just say it. I think that the franchise, I hate to do this, but it cannot be saved. It cannot be saved in the way it is going. It cannot be saved in the way that we feel like all this nostalgia and everything for old Halo. Like, we feel for a game at a time where games like Halo ruled. They were amazing. But in today's gaming age, I think, and some people will hate me for saying this, but I think Halo's time is past. And you know what? Changes need to be made.
And that's okay. It's actually okay and totally normal. It's not just okay. It's normal to say Halo's time is past. And this is not a whataboutism, but you know how people always say, where's PlayStation's first person shooter? PlayStation has sat down several of their mainline mascot-esque franchises, like Resistance has been set down. Killzone has just been put to bed. And there are games that sometimes you have to think about. Halo is a thing that was totally a 2000s thing. First person shooter, controller based.
It was one of the best
shooter game.
It was one of the best. It was the pinnacle of shooters at one time. But the problem is,
by the time Destiny came out, I had so many friends, and I know people are going to disagree with this now because we've seen Halo continue past when Bungie left, right? Yeah. And I've liked a lot of the games, but I had so many friends that said Halo's played out, Destiny's here, I'm going to do Destiny, and then they play Destiny and like, okay, I'm done, or they kept going, right? But there was a time when Halo was really big, and you there's no reason why people are like, well, Colt, Mario is the amazing mascot of Nintendo and it can never die. And I'm saying, well, Halo won't die, but at a certain point, 343's really tried to hobble it along. Take your mind back to 2009, 2010, when Halo ODST came out. It was supposed to be an expansion. I ended up loving it, and then Bungie was working on Reach. And people were like, oh, it's not Master Chief, but a lot of people really, really like Reach, and I'm one of them. And that's the last Bungie Halo game. And then you moved into 4. 4 was really great. There's just, we told the story a million times, but 343 just really tried to drag that heavy crate across the floor for so long.
And what did they, and here's the thing. What did they try to do for Halo Infinite, for the campaign anyway? They tried to play on nostalgia and bring back that feeling.
They tried to reimagine that 2001 experience.
Exactly. And what did that do for us hardcore gamers that loved that experience? We enjoyed it. We enjoyed the hell out of it.
I enjoyed it, yeah.
But I don't think it brings in enough new players. There's not enough new there for new players. Today's gamers want different things.
I have a 15-year-old and a 19-year-old, okay? So if they were as hardcore about gaming as I was, how am I supposed to get somebody that age excited about Halo when it calls all the way back to a 2001 perspective or a 2001 feel, right? And I know, Fonz, you agree with me that 343 would have been better off to take a step back and say, okay, Halo Infinite, really live up to the name. What did Cory Barlog do to God of War? Like when Sony said, here's God of War 4 or whatever they're going to call it, God of War 13. What are we going to do with this? And they said, no, it's not good enough. You need to revamp. You need to modernize it. And they modernized the crap out of God of War, and it blew up. So Halo should have been treated with all of the money and power and muscle behind it to make it the best and just really modern. I mean, bring back the dual wielding, of course. You have to do something that most games don't do.
Yeah, exactly.
They just
So-
evolved and evolved back.
343 Industries, and I've said this time and time again, but it needs to be said again. 343 has never made Halo their own. They have been working
true.
on a shell of a game that has been passed down to them from Bungie. And they've tried to keep this magic alive for far too long in the way it is. Like you said, they bring back dual wielding, bring things in the game that aren't there, that were never there. Try some new mechanics.
The grapple shot was incredible.
Incredibly,
and I'll bet
an
you,
incredible ad. And that was one of the best things about Halo Infinite. And guess what? Totally new mechanic. So add more.
Imagine how many middle fingers 343 had to face to bring the grapple shot in the game. I bet you the die-hard core OG Halo fans were so against that. And it was one of the best things in the game. And I agree, Fonz. And we don't want to complain about Halo for longer than a minute here. But they really need to modernize the game and take it
it's
full
not
force.
Complaining when we're trying to add, possibilities of what they can do for it, for some hope for the franchise. Because as it stands, I don't think there's any hope for this current Halo. Zero. I'm sorry. As much as you guys out there love the multiplayer aspect of the game, even that will die. It will die in its current, shape, especially it trying to be a gas game right now when it doesn't even function like most other gas games that are successful. Tell me this, Colt. What is so compelling to play this gas game? What is making you want to go back to Halo? Because, and this is going to sound crazy, people, fun is not enough anymore in games. Not in a gas game. Fun is not enough. Fun is a great. Fun is a great thing to have, and you need fun, but that's not enough to be compelled to play a game over and over. A multiplayer game like this, you need something to strive for. And I'm sorry, buying bunny ears. Buying bunny ears for your armor suit is not going to make me come back to this game over and over. You need compelling reasons to come back. You need better, that shiny new piece of gear that does this or does that. It elevates your gameplay. Maybe guns that you can actually add attachments to. Accessories. Things like that. Add things to the game that compel people to come back and play it. You just making it, it's a fun game to play with your friends every now and then. Well, so is that Fall Down Guys or whatever it's called.
Fall Guys.
Fall Guys.
I'm playing a multiplayer game where you level up your characters and then you can put points in to make them more powerful for the next match. It's not competitive. And then you can get chances to unlock new characters or different characters with different abilities. Mass Effect Andromeda Online.
Mm-hmm.
I've been messing around with it. But if you played 3 back in the day, it did the same thing. I would come back every night to build up points, buy a crate, get randomly generated stuff, dress up my characters, get better powers, get new guns, get new attachments. I don't know enough about Halo Infinite's multiplayer, but the carrot at the end of the stick and the amount of content has never quite been what it should be for a free-to-play game that people should be logging on a couple times a week or every night, depending on who you are.
Yeah, I just feel like when it comes to the multiplayer aspect, they try to cater to the loud fanatics out there, to those, hardcore fans that want Halo of old to remain Halo of old. When if you want new players, like I said, you're going to need to compel them to play the game. And just, being fun is not compelling enough anymore. It sounds crazy to say that, but it's true. You need that element of addiction within that game if you want people to keep playing it. That is just the way it is. That is why people come back to Fortnite. What do they do in Fortnite? Okay. They have even cosmetics. The cosmetics in Fortnite are freaking outlandish, crazy. You attack so many different genres Star Wars fans, you've got fans of anime, you've got all kinds of different fans that can get skins that look like these characters that they love, that they want to play with, and oh, something new. Oh, with that battle pass, I can get that skin if I continue playing this battle pass. So they do that. They have a compelling reason to play it. With Halo, you don't have a compelling reason to play this over and over. You don't. Yeah. And that is the biggest problem I see with it. And that is what I think 343 really need to understand here. If they're going to continue working on this game, that's the changes you need to make. As far as the single player game, I honestly think they need to hand it off to a completely different studio. I think their time is past with the Halo single player campaign. I think that if you give it to id Software or Machine Games, somebody like that else within Xbox, see what they can do with this franchise. See what they can do with a Master Chief. A totally different story. I don't care. Change it up. Change the mechanics up. Add more to it.
Yeah.
But something needs to be done drastically. You cannot keep this Halo of old fresh. It will not stay fresh. All these people that were praising it when Halo Infinite dropped, I myself enjoyed it, but I stopped playing it within a month. There was nothing compelling for me to play. Yes, it's fun with my friends. Whatever. Something else is fun with my friends too. Oh, and this game has me going after this that I really want, that is going to elevate my game. Yeah, I'm going to play that game. It's just...
Yeah. I mean, you start with the same two weapons every time, at least in Call of Duty, like, oh, I unlocked the SCAR. And that was a big moment. The SCAR was great. And then I'm like, oh, I want something faster. And you unlock a really cool submachine gun.
What about even unlocking, having attachments or upgrading your weapons to some degree?
Well, I mean, what they do is they want you to come, everybody drops in the match. Everyone is at an even playing field. Other than their skill, so I think they wholly rely on that everyone drops in with the same assault rifle, the same pistol, and from then on it's your skill until you can get better weapons in the battlefield or whatever.
Yeah, of course, while you're doing that, but usually it's the same 3 or 4 battle weapons on the playing field that everybody picks up, and then you got to wait for this one, wait for that one, and it's ridiculous. It's like, look at what other games are doing and emulate that. Emulate it. Copy it. Copy success. That's what a lot of companies do out there, and it's very successful. I'm sorry.
Copy Fortnite. I'm saying it a million times. It makes people so mad, but copy Fortnite. Why not? I love it.
Yeah. I'm just saying things need to be changed. I don't personally think that 343 Industries can handle both the multiplayer and the single player aspect of the game. There needs to be a shakeup there. And yes, we can talk about the mismanagement and everything. I've been talking about that for years. We all have. But there has been a shakeup within the management several times already. Bonnie's left. Now it's Stanton. You've got Heinz. And you just need a different gameplay loop and mechanic system there. Different things to add to the game. Make it compelling again for people to want to come back to this game again and again and again. That's what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds like, oh, that's so easy. No, it's not. I don't even know exactly what they can do. But my point is, I'm not a developer. These guys have talent. I've never once said that 343 are talentless. They have talent. We've seen it. We play the games. It's fun, but just add to it. Make the game better. Do something. You cannot keep it the way it is. It's not going to work. That's just how I feel. You got anything else to add about Halo? What you think they can add to make the game better? Or
no, I just want to add that now we know that there was no single player extended campaign on that to fix the cliffhanger ending. They hadn't even started work on that. They've been so buried in being an entire season behind. They're gonna try and get season 3 wrapped up, and it sounds like they're gonna work on season 4, but and they say they're going to have compelling stories, which means 343 is going to continue to support single player content, I suppose. They were just really super vague about that. Pierre probably wrote up 5 or 6 sentences, and he was asked to cut it back. It's just not been a fun week for Halo fans, and
No, it's not
I
a
feel
fun
really
week
bad for the devs.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
It hasn't been a fun week for Xbox in general. But Nivik in the chat says Game Pass is collapsing. Sir, you were dead wrong.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's not collapsing. Andy MC says, thank you very much for the super chat, by the way. He says, I'd love to see a Halo Flood horror game as a lone Marine. Yeah, that sounds interesting. That sounds like something I would definitely play. Again, they could do stuff within the Halo universe that doesn't necessarily need to be Master Chief. You can do.
I don't even think we're going to see the Flood again. One of the other problems that needs to be fixed at 343 and Microsoft is Halo needs to go back to a mature game. Absolutely, 100% needs to go back. It needs to quit being a, Halo's for everyone. No. I mean, when I played the first game, that Flood stuff, especially in 2, when it was super creepy with as they become zombies at the end of Halo 1, but that needs to come back. Halo is not Fortnite, even though I joked a minute ago. Halo needs to evolve with the core of their audience. Their audience is not 13-year-olds. Their core audience is 30 to 40, sometimes older than that. So the people that have grown up with the game, and you're leaving them behind by resetting it for your little baby brother and sister.
Yeah.
And anyway, that's enough about Halo.
Yeah. Kung Fu Hot Dog, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. He says, hey, Fonz, they say things happen in threes. First of all, Ubisoft, and then their troubles in Microsoft. What next, I wonder? Looking forward to Resident Evil 4 remake in March. I don't know what else is next. I hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't have a third thing coming that's negative. I'm really tired of the negativity right now in the industry, especially. Ubisoft has their own troubles. We talked a little bit about that with Jez last week, with them canceling 3 unannounced games. And
are you ready for this?
Yeah, go ahead.
The games industry in a whole is in a really big. They're having a really hard time right now.
Oh, I'm sure.
Xbox bought studios 5 years ago. Games no longer take 3 years. They take 5 to 6, sometimes more, to make a AAA game. There is a reason, Fonz, why we have not seen, other than what was announced in 2020, we haven't seen what's coming from Xbox and Halo or Xbox and PlayStation. PlayStation only has a roadmap at this point of 1 or 2 rumored games. Spider-Man 2 in the same city we were in 2018 and in 2020. And then Wolverine, which is coming out in 2025 or later from the same studio.
Yeah.
It's kind of cloudy out in the future, which is not normal for PlayStation. And I don't think it's because they don't have games. I think it's because they know, their studios know, their marketing knows that games are no longer coming out 2 at a time in a generation. Like, you're not going to get 2 franchise games in the same generation anymore. And what we're looking at is PlayStation and Xbox will release their biggest games in the second half of the generation, and we're already a quarter of the way through it. This is the reality.
Go ahead.
The length of development is put such a cloud over gaming, and developers are struggling to meet the demands of a just super hungry, insatiable appetite fan base that wants the biggest open world, the highest resolution count, the highest frame rate. They want ray tracing. They want motion capture. They want full dialogue, amazing visual. We love all that stuff. And I think studios are going, man, we're doing all that and we can do it, but it doesn't take 3 years anymore. It's taken at least 6. And the games industry and the fans are all in disarray right now because they're wondering what's coming down the pike, what's going on. And as a content creators, we get so excited about games, but then it seems like when they announce something, gosh, it's so far away. And that's where some of the talk about Crystal Dynamics, which we'll talk about too.
I personally do not mind hearing about games that are in the distance, 2-3 years away, even 4 years away. I don't mind getting excited for a game that isn't coming out anytime soon. Like I don't mind that. Some people hate it. I don't care.
Mhm.
Like I actually want to hear about games that are way off in the pipeline. I like to hear about that stuff. And I know the downside of this is that sometimes those games get canceled. Sometimes they don't pan
I
out. They don't
mean,
come to fruition.
that's that can be pretty rare,
sense.
but yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
but usually, you know, when you hear about a game 4 years later, 5 years later, you get the game and it's exciting. I mean, basically PlayStation's built their whole, you know, their gaming systems on that. Like PlayStation 4. Hey, guess what's coming in 4 years? You know, we got Spider-Man, and everybody waited for Spider-Man. Like it's right now, Wolverine. They announced that back in what, 2020, I believe?
2020.
And we're not getting that till 2024, 2025. The earliest.
No, not 2024. We're getting in 2025, they said, yeah.
They announced that.
Which
Think
is fine. It's a full open world.
But yes,
massive
I'm not
game.
even.
It's not going to come out in 2 years.
I'm not even bitching about that. I am excited for that. I am telling you that I was excited to hear about it in 2020. I don't care that it's not coming till 2020.
I mean, am I wrong? Nivik says, Colt, stop speaking for Sony. Am I wrong about how long games are taking? And when, like, Naughty Dog is supposedly working on a massive sci-fi game. I don't know if it's an RPG, but they're also trying to get Factions out, which was due in 2020 or due in 2019, and they're going to get it out in 2023. Maybe. I mean, they haven't even promised Factions in 2023. So even a multiplayer games as a service expansion of The Last of Us Part 2 is going to take them 3, maybe 4 years to complete. God of War Ragnarok, a game that Sony Santa Monica already had the foundation built. Normally that would have taken 2 years to create, like they did with Miles Morales. Now it's taking 4 years. Took them 4.5 years to get God of War Ragnarok out. Games no longer take 2 to 3 years.
Nope.
I'm not speaking for Sony. I'm speaking for the industry, and I'm spot on. This is the new reality. You'll no longer get 2 to 3 franchises in the same console generation, in a 6 to 8 year console generation. You're going to get one, and then you're going to wait for the next because what will happen is Bethesda will make Starfield, then they'll work on Elder Scrolls or finish Elder Scrolls 6, and then maybe Fallout will make it. Maybe.
I don't think,
but
I
think Fallout might just get pushed into the next generation. This is the reality of the demands that this fan base and the media and everyone have put on game developers. It also ties into partially what Phil said that got so many people angry, which I don't know if you wanted to talk about today, but I have a totally positive. I have a more positive outlook of what Phil said. He said, let me find it. Gosh, I don't have it here, but he said that in amidst the culture of criticism and cancellation of devs trying to create games for joy, basically, which was, I think, Phil's way of saying, I go all around the world. I talk to developers, other publishers, studios, not just Xbox. Like Phil talks to everybody in the industry. He is one of the beacon leaders up there with Jim and with Kaz. Like these people are out there talking to every developer, whether they're making games for them or not. And I'm sure there is one voice he hears repeated off that all these developers are struggling. Like, I have a dream. I want to build this great game and get it out to the world. And it takes a lot of bravery. You and I are artists. We're graphic designers, right, Fonz? And it takes a little bit of bravery to build something and put it out in public where anyone could say that looks like crap. And developers are out there putting. And when he says criticism, he's like, he could be talking, let's say he's talking about, let me just pick a studio that's not his.
Tango Games.
Let's say, well, I mean, they're working with Tango Games. Let's say he's talking about a Capcom. Let's say Capcom is working on like a new idea, and one person is at the helm of, like, they sketched it all up and it was their dream, and the developers are building it. And then as soon as they push out the trailer, they go to YouTube and the comments and it could be any game. It could be the most beloved game, and the comments are loaded with trash, meh, looks like garbage, woke garbage, this is crap, the graphics look crappy, this looks like a 360 game, and it goes on. And he says we live in a world where developers are trying to bring joy by building games for gamers, and they have to fall under this massive voice of criticism and cancellation. I think he should not have used the word cancellation, because among the social atmosphere that's going on right now, it was horribly choice words. But this is the situation that maybe he meant cancellation, and one day he'll have to clarify it, but maybe he meant cancellation as you build these games, you put all the bravery to bring them out to the world, and then they never see the light of day, which you were talking about earlier, happens a lot.
Yeah. Well,
and
why don't we get his
really upset over that?
Give me his phone number and we'll call him live on the air.
I'll call him.
All right, let's
hey, Phil.
him.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Fonz, he wants us to get down to the smoothie station and make more churros down at Microsoft, because that's our job, right? Remember when everyone thought we worked at Microsoft?
Oh, yeah.
And so we tell them you and I work the churro stand outside the game studios.
That's right. Oh, I got him on the line. He's right here.
This is about delivering great exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists.
Phil, we're trying to talk to you about what you just stated recently. Can you answer to this?
This is about delivering.
Oh, damn. No.
That's all.
I hung up on Phil. Sorry, Phil.
I asked
Sorry.
him. I'm like, what frame rate is Starfield? And he's like, this is about, yeah.
Phil, how's Todd?
Delivering great exclusive games for you that ship.
He's still talking. Yeah. Phil Spencer, everybody, live on GTL.
The chip comes out of the back of his head. This is about, yeah.
Is he still there?
On platforms where Game Pass.
Yeah, he's still there. Phil, gosh. He's got to get some new material, right? Something
like
new,
back in the day
fresh.
when you used to have a real phone and you'd set it down when your friend's talking, you have to run to the bathroom, you come back and he's still talking. Yeah.
Wait,
anyway.
Is he still there?
The man with the million.
Oh, it's Rand. Rand. Good to hear you, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he never says anything but man with a million over and over. That's all Rand.
No, Nivik, he's not still promising VR. He's actually been pretty upfront about how VR is not ready for the world, and like having a few games here or there is just not the way they're going to push forward with the industry. Because that PSVR 2 is really impressive, but it's going to hit about 4% of the
Here's
platform.
a better question, Nivik. How's Jim believing in generations treating you lately? Huh? How's that? How's that doing?
I mean, most of their games are bought and sold on the PS4. Yeah. That's where they're played.
Yep. Most of the games are played there. Anyways, what's up, dealer? I see a wild dealer in the house. What's up, dealer?
Oh, wild. There he is. Well, I guess we have to show the nips. He says it.
Right now?
We got to do it.
Right now? No. I'll probably get canceled showing my man boobs. I got a super chat here from Highlander 001 over here. He says, thank you very much, by the way, Highlander. He says, two of my favorite hosts. Most of the layoffs come from the engineering division, and the biggest layoffs in the gaming are from Bethesda Publishing. Microsoft does not need two publishers. It sucks. So that's pretty interesting. I didn't hear about that. So a lot of it that was cut at Bethesda was the publishing arm there?
And marketing, like redundancies. Yeah. Yes.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes sense in a way. I can see that.
They didn't need to do that because normally what they were going to have Bethesda do their own publishing and marketing efforts. And so there was no, I don't know, but they've decided to cut across the boards as they must be really officially Microsoft employees if that's the case.
I hate hearing cuts anywhere, man. Layoffs is no joke. I don't want to hear anybody really using console wars with the layoffs and all that. Like it's a bad look. It's terrible. I saw a lot of that on Twitter, and I immediately muted everybody who was talking about the layoffs, using it as console war fodder or
I kicked
debate.
Him.
It's ridiculous. So it's just dumb. It's just dumb to talk about people's livelihoods like that. People lost their jobs, and unless you've been in those shoes, you have no idea what it feels like.
Well, even if you've been in those shoes, you don't get to console war over people losing their job.
Exactly. And it's terrible. It's terrible. But speaking of terrible, I'm hearing a rumor that Perfect Dark is in a bit of trouble. Colt, what have you heard about this?
Yeah, I have the quote for you, my friend. Let me grab it.
Man. Grab that quote. This comes from a leaker, by the way, Miller, right?
This was an interview with a head at Crystal Dynamics, so it's official information. He says, I don't know exactly, just heard the waters were choppy for Perfect Dark. Tomb Raider has actually been in development for a lot longer than people know. Though it did restart when it shifted Foundation to Unreal Engine 5. It's been in the cards for a while now. I would indeed expect at least a year between them, meaning a year between Perfect Dark and Tomb Raider.
And
now,
Tomb Raider
I heard a lot
dropping
of people
first.
Was there a part of the quote where he says Tomb Raider's coming out first? I think he does after that.
Yeah.
Which I don't have.
He says Perfect Dark has hit a road bump or two. Tomb Raider is releasing before Perfect Dark with at least a year in between.
Oh, okay.
That's
the quote, because this quote is differently worded. That I have this in quotes.
This is a quote I got off of Reddit, so I don't know. Somebody was quoting him, so who knows? And
yeah,
all of
that
this
was
is
paraphrased,
rumor, right? All
That's
of this
paraphrased.
is paraphrased for sure. But if this is true, that's kind of ridiculous that we're going to get a Tomb Raider game before Perfect Dark. When Perfect Dark was announced, when was that announced? Was it 2018 or 20? When was that?
Perfect Dark was announced in 2020.
Was it 2020?
Yeah, and when I was reading that, I was thinking
we should have seen more about it though.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider came out in 2018, right before Spider-Man. I think it was like a week before Spider-Man. So if they've been working on concepting the next Tomb Raider game for a while, it makes me wonder if it's been since 2019 or 2020 that they've been planning the next Tomb Raider. And of course, they said they kind of restarted some of the stuff from scratch to build it in Unreal Engine 5 because it's a Unreal Engine game, isn't it? Before?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
But it's man, what kind of road bumps do you think they're hitting here? I mean, this is Crystal Dynamics making this game. Do you think that this?
Well, I think the real quote, I'm sorry, Fonz,
go
is
ahead.
choppy waters. Choppy water. And it's really important to have the actual quote
choppy
ready
waters.
Because every word means something.
Yeah.
Because your quote said that it's
road
coming
bump.
first before, but that's not what the actual developer or lead at Crystal Dynamics says.
Okay.
He says it's been in the cards for a while now.
Oh, no. Okay, so you're reading a quote direct from the developer. I'm reading a quote from Miller, a leaker that has been right about things at Crystal Dynamics in the past.
But he's translating it to his best visibility. So it's better if we use the actual quote from the head of Crystal.
Of course,
that says,
that's what he's translating.
He says it's been in the cards for a while, referring to Tomb Raider. Because he said that they started it, the development was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I would indeed expect at least a year between them. So somebody asked about when is Perfect Dark coming out, because Crystal Dynamics is working on that as well as Tomb Raider. His response is, I'll read it again, because it's, you don't have it, you can't see it on screen, but he says, I don't know exactly, just heard the waters were choppy for Perfect Dark. Okay. And I'll skip to the next part because the next sentence refers to Tomb Raider. I would indeed expect at least a year between them. So it does sound like if he was saying that he would assume that Perfect Dark or Tomb Raider is coming out before, but waters were choppy. Just heard which is weird because this is a new interview, and he says, I just heard the waters were choppy for Perfect Dark, which means, are they still sitting in the hands of the initiative? Like the initiative, the 20 or 30 people over there have not yet given the green light to Crystal Dynamics? Come on, holy smokes.
I don't know. And or did they run into some sort of, issue with the, just the story process, the creation process? Like, I wonder where they're at with Perfect Dark. I wonder if they're in the stage of actually, like the game is there, the template, like the foundation is already implemented, and they're just, working up from that, like, putting in all the
we've heard
graphics
very little. Yeah, I've covered quite a bit about Perfect Dark.
That's the problem. We haven't heard anything about Perfect Dark. It's been so quiet, and I wish we would hear something.
Matt Booty was interviewed during the summer interview for Games or PAX Week, and he said the only thing he said about Perfect Dark was the interviewer asked him, how do you reboot a game like Perfect Dark in 2020? And he's in the 2020s, and he said very carefully. And so he just spoke on what I assume is Joanna Dark. I don't know the franchise. I didn't play it back then.
I did. I didn't care for it. I didn't even finish the Perfect Dark. It wasn't for me. It wasn't for me.
I mean, I played an hour of each one when I made a video last year, and I used that footage in there. But from what I gather, Joanna Dark is the tightly dressed, curvy, super, femme fatale spy.
Well, you're not going to get that today unless it's
you're not getting that today.
Japanese game or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
and I just refer to games like Stellar Blade and
many times we've seen the Western studios on the Western side of the planet don't over sexualize their characters.
Yeah.
And Joanna Dark is wearing tight jeans and a leather jacket, like a short leather jacket, and what we've seen in the new trailer. But I would expect. It's funny because 10 years ago, Daryl Gallagher rebooted Lara Croft in the Tomb Raider game, and they made her look like really, because she was at like 5 polygons in motion, and he really modernized her and made her look really phenomenal and really like an action adventure hero. And I don't know if that stuff gets to be in 2010s, but I don't know about 2020. And I'm just an old person. I don't know, Fonz. What's your take on that?
We're not going to get that, but my whole thing with Perfect Dark is, they've still got a couple of years before that game should launch anyway, but I do want to hear about it. I do want to see more on that, at least an update. Right. And I'm hoping, like, I really wish that this game would be third person, like, or at least give me the option.
Yeah.
Like, I know they're probably not going to do that because the original game was a first person shooter, but I want a third-person action-adventure game from Microsoft, and I really would like it to be this game. But if I had to choose between this one and, say, Indiana Jones, I'd rather that one be the third-person game.
Of course,
sure. That better be third-person. But again, you're looking at Indiana Jones, and who's making it? Machine Games? They usually make, first-person games. So, like, I don't know. I've got some super chats to get to here. One from my good friend, Jedi Knight Peter. We've been in many party chats with Jedi Knight. Good guy, great guy. He says, head of Obsidian said he wants to make another Fallout before he retires. He's 52 at the moment. I personally would love New Vegas too, as would I, my friend, as would Colt. We both love New Vegas. That is our favorite Fallout, right?
Oh,
you
yeah.
As well?
Yeah, Fergus Urquhart. He's awesome. Gosh dang it, give him the game. Give him the engine, give him the assets. Let him do it.
Yeah, let him do it.
Fallout 5 isn't coming out till 2028 or 2030.
Yeah.
And that's my guesstimate and something Phil said after I made a video on it.
Yeah, I've got what Phil said right here.
Pass exists. This is about delivering great exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists.
Phil Spencer, everybody. Phil Spencer.
Oh,
gosh.
Nivik.
Never fails.
Go like this and see what falls out. Oh my gosh, bro. Or like, D-level troll.
All that was in there was like air going.
It was like
coming out his ear.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, bro. Figure it out. Like,
I have a feeling.
Go play Fallout New Vegas. Go play Fallout. Go play some games.
I've never seen this guy.
Build up a library of knowledge and build up like perspective, perception. Just be aware that the world is turning and it's rotating around the sun. Learn something.
I think this Nivik guy is just like, this is an alt account or a sock account from somebody we know that's messing with us.
He's just a little account, little guy that, you remember the You remember the old Looney Tunes gag where the big bulldog stomping around, little dogs hopping around and going, hey boss, what do you want me to do next, boss? What do you want me to do next?
Love that cartoon.
He's
Loved
that guy.
it.
Yeah.
Biff Rinaldi, thank you very much for the 5. He says, gotta love Microsoft putting their shows on at noon on a Wednesday. Nobody's busy at that time. Who is going to have time to watch that? Exactly, right? Like, I was thinking about that. I'm going to be at work, and I'm going to be in the bathroom for like 45 minutes. Yeah, it's a long
Random
crap.
Wednesday.
Here we are, at noon. Yep. Like, God, that's a weird time. It really is. Good call, Biff. And I got another one here from Highlander. Again, thank you very much, man. Great guy. He says, I worked at Microsoft, and when my department was let go, I got 6-month health benefits and 3 months of pay. We will know more from the investors call later this week about the breakdown of the layoffs.
Oh yeah, we've heard the severance package is really, really nice, but notwithstanding, those developers will all hopefully they're not cutting at studios, but those people are all really talented.
Yeah, but I want to let people understand, even though you get a severance package and you might get some health care for a few months or whatever, it still doesn't really replace your job, your career. The fact that, if you've been there 15 plus years, like case in point, not going to get into it too much, but I was told last year that my job is ending this year and I'm going to be laid off. I'm going to get, a severance package and stuff. But the thing is, I would rather keep my job. And even though I was given a year's heads up, and which is huge, not many people have that. It's still scary as hell for me. I don't like not knowing what's going to happen next. That next chapter in my life it's scary. So the impending loss of my job is scary for me. And when I hear other people's getting laid off, sorry, can't even talk. I feel bad for them. I have empathy for these people because it's not fun, man. It's really not fun. Yeah. So my heart goes out to them for real. Reverse World, thank you for the $2 super chat. He says it feels like Xbox starts cracking Wednesday. Oh, the Xbox That's right. It'll start cracking Wednesday, he says. Let's get into that. Let's stop talking about doom and gloom, about studios possibly having problems. Let's talk about real world Xbox happenings, Colt. Because
there's actually a lot to be excited about.
There's a lot to be excited about.
Even with all the, we had to get the mess out of the way, but we did it in an hour.
I think we did it. I think we did it in a way where we weren't just slamming. We were giving some kind of, I guess, hopeful advice and advice. Like I'm telling 343, this is what you do, buddy. It'll work. Hey, trust me. But
go ahead, Fonz.
We got to try to do something. We got to. I just hate when I tune into a podcast and all I hear is they fucking suck and that guy's an idiot and that the head of Phil Spencer doesn't know what he's talking about, and in the end we all know Phil knows what he's talking about.
This is about delivering great exclusive games for you that
we
ship
know what he's
on
talking
platforms where Game Pass exists.
I love how he laughs when he says platforms, like he was looking at like the production assistant, and the production assistant was like or something. Like, play it one more time.
This is about delivering great exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists.
Platforms. Yeah. He laughs there.
Because I think he thought he was going to flub a word, and he actually made it, but he's kind of laughed his way through it. But you and I clocked that phrase, you and me, Dealer as well, when we were doing RDX that week, and you grabbed it. Dealer had it in videos, and
you had to.
Anyway.
But no,
what's bright for the future?
I think here's what's bright for the future, Colt. We've got a direct event on the 25th. I'm glad that they have adopted this sort of Nintendo-esque direct event over at Xbox, because this is something I think that has been needed for so long. We've been saying for so many years. Remember the event they used to have, Colt, where they had talking heads sitting there talking forever on a couch?
Inside Xbox? Yeah.
Gosh,
I like some of the people they had on that. Ricari and Jeff Rubenstein were awesome, but then there's long segments where you're like, oh, they've made them so long.
Is there games they're going to actually show? Or, that's the kind of thing that we wanted to see. And now they're going to adopt this direct event thing, which I say is a great thing. I hope they do this throughout the year, every year. And just to give you updates on games that are like in the immediate future, this makes a lot of sense. And that's what's going on here on the 25th. Basically, they're going to cover some games that are coming very, very soon. One of those games is, of course, going to be Redfall, right? So we're going to get a deeper look at Redfall, which now we've heard is more like Far Cry rather than Left 4 Dead is what everybody was saying in the beginning, which I was just like, please, no, I don't want to do a Left 4 Dead. But here, more like Far Cry. I'm excited for that. Are you excited to see more on this game?
Oh yeah. I mean, this is going to be we had that interview 2 weeks ago where they broke down what the game is supposed to feel like. I think that was the precursor for a probably 8-minute gameplay reveal of how you'll get your character, set them up, equip them, go out in the world and just organically approach the mission. This isn't a Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood, open the red door, go in, attack a million enemies and go to the other door and shut the door. This is a Far Cry, Borderlands style open world action RPG. It's going to be amazing. And we don't know what the feel other than that just description of how Ricardo Bear and Harvey Smith explained how the game is supposed to be approached. And I think we're going to get to see it. And the shooting looks phenomenal. You've got a couple of the experts at id who went and consulted on the shooting mechanics. They look fantastic. Shotguns, SMGs, rifles, shooting guns.
Do you know what really perked my interest after they mentioned it was more like Far Cry? The second thing that really perked my interest is when they were talking about the AI and how good it was. They said it was going to be, rather than just, hordes of enemies coming at you or whatever. They're talking about smart, tactical AI enemies coming after you. And this is vampires, cultists, or cultists, as I like to call them. But these types of things coming at you, and the way they described it, within, like, you could be walking through a cornfield or whatever, and you would hear whispering and stuff around you, then get attacked or something. I love that element of surprise. I love that for this genre, this horror-esque, first-person shooter. This is my bag. Like, I can't wait to jump into this game. And yes, I like the aspect that it is also multiplayer and you can play with your friends. However, I do not like the fact that it was confirmed that if you're playing with your friend and you say you beat a level or whatever, it's not going to count for you. It only counts for the host. That I don't like.
Right.
I've always hated that.
Hold that thought for a second. I got to give a shout out to Bug, a friend of mine in the chat. Shout out to Bug for being here. The other one is
Bug.
This isn't a games as a service like that.
No.
You have to understand that this isn't any game that is online is not a games as a service game. Games as a service is specifically meant to get you to spend money to continue playing the game. Yeah. Now you can, if you have expanded content, you could consider that a games as a service, but this is Arcane's first time of bringing in, is this their first time bringing in co-op?
Dishonored.
I mean, they already did it with Prey. They already had an online based expansion for Prey.
I played a little
and nobody
bit
really
of Prey.
played it, but
I didn't care. I don't care too much for Arcane. So this could be the first game that I really, am going to like a lot. Another thing too is when you're watching the footage that I have on the screen and you see the town and you see the maps that you're going to be able to explore, it's that exploration aspect that I'm really like digging here. The fact that you see them go into a lot of different areas, a lot of different homes, lighthouses, old boats, just crazy, like the movie theater, like there's different areas. I cannot wait to explore that stuff. Like,
and then there's the fourth dimensional transition into the vampire world where it melds the vampire, like the upside down with an actual location in Redfall, Massachusetts. The game's going to be really, really cool. And it is fun, such a departure.
I think it's really going to be fun. And the fact that Arcane kind of know that their first person shooting isn't quite the best, and they went out and got some help for that. I'm happy with that. I'm happy to hear that because I don't think their shooting has been all that great. Even in Deathloop and stuff, I don't think it's all that great. So
I like the shooting in Deathloop. I just the the
It
cycle
works,
of the
but
game doesn't work for me.
It's horrible. Yeah, the cycle. Yeah, the gameplay.
You don't
loop,
feel like the death loop
like
shooting is snappy. Like I feel like I can get acquisition on a target, and the animations are great.
To me, it just doesn't feel as fluid. Like when you play something for so many years, like a Destiny, like I have for so many freaking years.
Well,
and then
there's
you
a
play
reason
any
why
other
Destiny
first-person
feels
shooter,
so fan.
You're just like, meh.
Let me tell you why Destiny feels so great.
Bungie.
It does a lot of the work for you, and it's all about when you're in 45-degree angle hip fire mode. The acquisition of the gun comes right in on. So if you're running and you've got your dot in the middle and your gun is like this, I know it's hard to do on a camera. And when you bring acquisition up, it is right there on that dot.
Yeah.
Halo and well, mostly Destiny's really good because they have real iron sighting. It's really good at you line up headshots. So you feel like a BA when you play Destiny because the shooting mechanics are really great, and they're also there's nothing to fight. So that is a good point, Fonz.
No, I'm glad that they're working on. They're bettering themselves in that area that they lack, and that's a good thing. But we've got other games that are going to be shown there too, like Forza. That's on the screen now.
Let me read you the quote from Forza. Somebody in the chat, people are. It's so unfortunate that even Xbox fans have had the propensity to think of the worst first, or to believe the negative first. And a couple people have asked me, Colt, how do you feel about Forza not showing gameplay at this event? Because they said they wouldn't, or they didn't mention
kind of
gameplay.
Off about that too. I don't.
Well, here's
the
quote. Here's the quote. I don't know why people do this, and it's so short.
Let's hear it.
The team at Turn 10 Studios have been hard at work bringing fans the next generation of Forza Motorsport, built from the ground up to take advantage of Xbox Series X and S. Forza Motorsport is back, and we can't wait to share more gameplay and exciting new details.
Wow! So
everyone's
where did that come from?
They from Developer Direct's press release.
No, but where did it come from? Where did the idea come from that there would not be any gameplay?
Well, there's one more
going around.
There's one more paragraph, and I think maybe people didn't read the first paragraph. Let me read it. Turn 10 has spoken about intricate details. I don't know. It's the opening statement, like the call to action. What do you need to know? Who, what, when, where, why? It's right there. The Turn 10 has spoken about the intricate details of Forza Motorsport being rebooted for this. Oh, that's something I wrote for the video. That was it. That's all it was. I'm looking at my. I was looking at my Developer Direct report.
Hold up. Yo, Phil.
It's two sentences.
Yeah. Are they going to show gameplay for Forza?
Oh, yeah, Phil.
This is about delivering great exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists.
Yeah. That's confirmation, I guess. They're going to show gameplay. Forza. Don't worry about it, folks. It'll be there. Phil has spoken, because this is about showing gameplay, Game Pass games. Let's get a couple of super chats before they go away. I've got one here from Kung Fu Hot Dog again. Thank you very much. He says, my best period of gaming is 2006 to 2016. The original Gears of War titles, Uncharted, Mass Effect, Max Payne 3, all had amazing ad campaigns. 100%. 100%. Those, man, thinking back on those games you mentioned there, just what a great time that was. Freaking fantastic, man. Fantastic.
Yeah, you got 3 Mass Effect games. You got 4 Gears of War games. You got 3 Uncharted games.
No, and like he says, how the ads were for those games, the commercials and stuff you saw for them.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I was at dinner with my
Gears was just unbelievable. That's still my all-time favorite gaming ad period. Mad World, Gears of War is the best gaming commercial.
And the Mass Effect 2
ever.
The Mass Effect 2 trailer was like played during Monday Night Football, and it was all CG, and it was Commander Shepard and Thane and Ashley Williams like getting into cover, and it was like really nice. It was not in game; it was all fully pre-rendered, and they got into cover, and he throws a biotic charge over, or a biotic throw over the cover, and lifts a guy, and Thane like smashes him, and it was like looked like a high level. Anyway, it was that's how you do it. Show the
Yeah.
games on TV because games are bigger than everything else. I was at dinner with my son, and there were an NBA basketball
look
game
how
was
good
on.
Forza looks. Oh my gosh, that looks
It looks fantastic. And this is PC gameplay, but they said that they set it to be indicative of the Series X.
Yeah. No,
so they basically put it at the Series X settings, which people are like, oh, it's it's on PC. It's like, well, they knew full well because they wrote there was a script at the bottom that said representative of Xbox Series X gameplay. So if it was on a PC, they said, okay, LOD distance this, quality this, resolution this, frame rate, ray tracing, blah, blah, blah. All that was turned on, and they cranked it here. And anybody who doubts what Turn 10 says they're going to do, they have perplexed the best experts in tech when they said, you're going to need a Vega 64 or whatever that card was back in 2017. You're going to need all this stuff to run it on PC, and it was running phenomenal on Xbox One X. Nivik, like I said, dude, get the gravel out of your ears, bro. Yeah, Turn 10 is going to.
He's going to be excited.
There'll be some laughing.
Nivik will have fun because on the 25th they're going to show him Minecraft Legends. He's been waiting for that game, it seems.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what we got up on the screen now. We got Minecraft Legends, Nivik. That should be fun, right?
Hey, and that's coming out to your PlayStation since you only play in one place. You'll have a lot of great fun. Yeah.
Yep. You got to pay for it, though.
That game's going to be cool. Well, there was something else I was going to tell you that wasn't related to Forza. I don't even remember. But yeah, it should be good.
You were going to tell me you were at a basketball game.
Oh, no. I was at dinner when we were talking about the marketing.
You were watching a basketball game, right?
And there was a basketball game out in a commercial break. They had a Forspoken trailer, and they said PlayStation at the end. And I was like,
okay,
why isn't Xbox doing stuff on TV?
Correct.
Like, you have plenty of money.
I say that all the time. And they're doing this for Forspoken of all games. A game that they're limiting review copies for. And usually when they do that, folks, that means, well, you know what that means. Usually it's not a good game. But I didn't say that. Well, actually, I did. I played the demo, and I don't think it's a good game for me anyway. I don't. It's not a game I'm gonna play. But they do market their games. I constantly see marketing for Sony all the time, and I wish Microsoft would do more. And that's another reason why I think when it comes to Starfield, I think they need to start marketing that. Just start it. And I know recently we saw that there was a leak of a Series X box that had come out, and it showed some marketing for Starfield on the box. And if that's true, that should be coming out soon, which means marketing should start soon. I don't know. What do you say? Because Starfield's not going to be at the show, by the way, guys. That's already set.
Yeah.
So
well, let's talk about something. What do you? If there's a collector's edition, what do you think will be in the collector's edition, Fonz? Like, what would you like to see?
This may be the first collector's edition of any game I've ever bought. This may be the first.
Yeah.
Because
I bought the Mass Effect one. That was my first, but
I'm so hype on this game because I've been through many years, and a lot of people are like, "Why are you hyped? You don't know what the game's about." It's a Bethesda single player RPG. For me, there's a lot to get hyped about. I have loved all of their single player RPGs. I played every one of them, loved them. Even Obsidian's New Vegas, amazing. Like, I love these types of, games. And you know what? This is why I think, yes, I'll buy the collector's edition. What do I think will be in the collector's edition? I don't know. What would I want, though? What would I want in this edition? Mm-hmm. You know what would be cool? You know what they did with Mass Effect and the N7 helmets? You got one.
Yeah, I have one.
Yeah. I would love something like that.
Well, I don't want some dorky globe helmet that that you see like your default
cool,
character
though, like
at level 1.
A pirate
in the
like
game.
Styled helmet, or they showed some cool looking helmets in the game that you're fighting against, and you'll be able to upgrade your helmet and stuff. That dorky globe helmet's not cool. Or spaceship.
That's
even.
what you.
A cool looking
I bet
spaceship.
that's going to be your starting.
What
You're
about a
starting
cool? Okay, what
outfit.
about a cool spaceship in the box?
I mean, I don't really want a spaceship.
Then what do you want? What do you want?
A couple people on Twitter said maybe that Constellation watch is going to be in there.
Ooh, you want some artwork?
No, I don't want. No,
Yeah, I know.
I bought.
You'll
I
get
bought
some
the Mass
digitally,
Effect one,
okay? You'll
and
get some digital artwork, and you'll like it.
You'll like it and you'll love it.
I hate that, by the way. When you buy a game and they're like special edition, you get some digital artwork. I never even play that digital artwork. I don't do it. I don't. Yeah, let me play that on my console. Let me look at it. I don't like. And I'm not. It's not like I'm against art. I love art, but if it's not physical, it's not in my hand, and I can't touch it and feel it. Like I don't want to look at it just on my TV. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just.
I don't know.
I want a flip book. That's right. Reverse said it. I want a flip book that moves at 30 frames.
That's what funny. About this rumor?
That's funny.
What about this rumor that I'm not okay? I'm going to say this without saying the names of the people that
Voidrest says he wants Starfield condoms. I did not say that. But okay, Voidrest.
Intergalactic probalactic. Say that with your echo on.
Glow in the dark. Intergalactic condoms. There you go.
In space, no one can. Okay, I'm done.
Intergalactic. Wow. Okay. All right.
Intergalactic.
Okay.
And we've taken
glow in the dark.
So,
how about that?
What about this rumor that of whom shall not be named that was saying that they think Starfield is pushed to, do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
The 20th of September or whatever, that it is possibly being pushed as early as June.
Okay.
Have you heard this?
I have not heard that. I heard the rumors of it being pushed to possibly September or even October. But look, I am scatterbrained when it comes to the release date of Starfield, because on one hand, I want them to take as much time as they need to make this game right. I need it as perfect as they can make it. But at the same time, I want it tonight, Colt. I want it tonight.
I know.
But it's not going to happen. I don't think this game, man, I really hate to say it, but I think it's going to come out in September myself.
Yeah, that's where I'm sitting.
And I'm okay with that. I'm not mad at that. Like, seriously, release it when it's ready. That's all I'm saying. Release it when it's ready. I see you, Gray Monad. He says, I see your Schwartz is as big as mine.
Oh, beauty.
Classic.
Love it.
Yes, love it. R.I.P. John Candy. Man, great flick. Anyways, back to Starfield. But yeah, I think this game drops in September myself. But I'm not arguing with people saying I want it to drop in September. Don't get me, started with that. But if it drops sooner, of course I'll be happy with that. Especially if it's ready. It's got to be ready.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, by the way, Hargeet, I have your super chat right here, buddy. I did not lose it. Let me get to this. Hargeet says, on Halo relevance today, like any established IP, difficult to bring in new fans if they can't catch up with the story, easier for movies, tougher for TV, worse for games, easier for games like Mario. Games like Mario, sorry. Well, what exactly... I don't know if you were here for our talk about this, Hargeet, but when we were discussing Halo at the beginning of the show, I was saying that they need to get with the times, so to speak, to gain new fans. I think they need to do more within Halo. They can't just play off nostalgia. That's not going to work for new fans. That's going to work for hardcore, older fans, but they need new stuff implemented, whether that be mechanics, gameplay loop, you name it, something. And for multiplayer, they need compelling reasons to come back to that multiplayer, not just the fun factor. You need a sort of I called it an addiction. You need something that has people hooked on that gameplay loop in the multiplayer to come back to it every time, whether that be going for new armor, that sets you completely apart from the rest of the crew, or going after some new weapons that helps elevate your game, something like that, something different. It needs to be changed up. It just does. The Halo that they're on track with right now cannot be sustained. I'm sorry. It just can't. It's not going to work the way they're going at it right now. Nostalgia is a hell of a drug, but it's not that good. Not for new fans anyway. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
I don't see it working. Yes, unlockables. Exactly, Revived. Yeah, they need some unlockables. You need something to strive for. Again, that compelling reason to come back to a game over and over
At least
again.
like the RNG stuff is cool. Like in the Mass Effect multiplayer, like flipping cards can be kind of lame, but like when you unlock a new Asari, a new playable character, it's like, oh, cool. Well, you know, what do they have? What do they do? That stuff is, I don't know. It kind of pushed me forward. You get enough credits, you buy a new box. They're all fake credits. You know, it's like you finish a match, you earn a certain amount of in-game money that sits right there. You use that money inside the multiplayer currency to unlock a box.
Okay, Case. Okay, and if we're talking about even the single player Hargeet, like I said earlier, I think more RPG elements need to be added. Again, it's more of a reason to continue to play a game. If you look at games like, I hate to say it, even Gotham Knights, Colt, the fact that you were getting new gear all the time. Oh, I want to try to get this gear or that gear. It made you want to
unlock that part of didn't you unlock? So I'm drawing a blank, but don't you you get to put points into. So at first you can do something with Robin, and then eventually you can do like this long strike and stuff like that. I don't remember. You and I played the wheels off that game.
Yeah. Pragmatic Eagle says create your own Spartan as well. Yeah, even that. I mean, you can change things up, but for some reason, it's like they think they could capture the magic of old Halo. And I'm here to say, no, you can't. You can't. That time is past. We're way past that old Halo. It's not going to work for today's generation. It'll work for us old heads for a month, and then we're done. Mm-hmm. But it's not going to capture the hearts and minds of the youth out there that play these Fortnites. It's not.
Oh my gosh. Nivik says the creation engine looks like Forspoken. That's so weird because he quoted Digital Foundry a minute ago. Digital Foundry was really impressed with Starfield's visuals and said it's so improved and like there's a lot of detail going on. But when they talked about Forspoken, oh man, that was.
Do you know
not
what the difference
good.
is? Because they're comparing it from what Bethesda used to do with their old engine with their new creation engine. And it's vastly superior in the way it looks. Looks so much better. If you can't see the differences, you're blind. Yeah. You're blind.
Yeah, the only things missing from Starfield is they've really pulled back the color. They really desaturated it.
I think that's
to look
on
like
purpose.
the Interstellar movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I think it was made to be more cinematic.
Yeah, and I would prefer it to be less
talk about that
blue casted like Remedy and more vibrant.
Or should I say filmic? Okay, so this goes into 30 frames per second cold.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we're going to get a performance mode in Starfield? Because I think the base game is going to be 30. That's a given.
Did you get a chance to it's the compression. Nivik. All right, dude, log off. You're good. Did you get a chance to watch my Starfield video from a few days ago, Fonz? Where I had the quotes from John Linneman and what Todd said to Lex Fridman and Ryan McCaffrey in his interview.
30 frames. Yep.
Yeah. One of the things that I am seriously 50-50 on whether this will only run at 30 frames, because Todd said being focused, he says, I like focus. I cut this part out of the video the other day, but he goes, I like to focus. We like to focus knowing we have one target and we know exactly what we're developing the game for. And so he's saying that because they have that for Starfield right now. And he says, and we get to have the developers from Xbox showing us how to really make that console dance and the best of its ability for Starfield. So if Jason Ronald's team is consulting with the developers on truly optimizing Starfield, we've yet to see FSR properly implemented. We've yet to see velocity architecture, BC pack, sample feedback streaming, and other advanced RDNA 2 features like mesh shading.
We need that.
And all these things that PlayStation 5 doesn't have access to. This is future-proof stuff that in big, massive games, because going forward, games are going to be built so much bigger, not worrying about the PS4 and Xbox One, that they need to take advantage of efficiency features like using super resolution to tie up performance to get the frame rate. And I wanted to really emphasize that if Starfield runs at 48 to 55 frames per second much of the time and just can't stay at 60, the devs will just say, nope, slam. And they'll say, we're capping it at 30. We want a stable experience.
True.
We can't let them play the game at 45 to 50 frames. It can't be bobbing up all over the place in the performance, or else it's going to look really bad. It's going to feel bad. So developers that's why you see a game locked at 30. Gotham Knights, they couldn't get it to stay at 60. I'll bet you anything, Fonz. In that open world, just like on PC, they got it to run at 60 on console, on PS5 and Xbox Series X. But it dropped so many times, they're like, nope, we're not shipping it like that. Cut 30, ship it.
Yeah.
So it really comes down to, if I have confidence that the developers that Bethesda and Xbox with the dev kit are going to actually use some, they don't even have to use all of them, but use a couple of the efficiency RDNA 2 features that are proprietary right now on console to Series X and S.
You're
so
100%
I am
correct,
50-50.
man.
It's a long-winded answer, and it's very important that I say all of that, because it does not, it is possible. And if it's not 60 frames or does not have a performance mode, I think you dang well better hear Digital Foundry say, you need a pretty darn capable PC to run this game at 60 at 1080p on ultra or high settings or whatever. And they won't say it. Digital Foundry won't say it, but I will. They're talking about a $1,500 PC at that point, not a $500 PC that kills a console. So,
yeah.
Hey, Sith. Yeah, it's a very long answer, but it's very important.
No, it is very important to talk about the FSR 2.1 and all that stuff, because with those tools, I hate saying that word, by the way, the tools, it could get done. Okay. They can add a 60 frames mode to this, and who knows, maybe this is part of what they've been polishing up on all this time as well, making a performance mode as well, working with Jason Ronald and the team to make this happen for us, because there's a lot of people, they see the push. They know that a lot of us want 60 frames out there. Now, this doesn't by any means say, the game is going to be unplayable at 30, because hell, I'm used to this. Generations of consoles where I played 30. I shouldn't have to, but I will still play it, because every Bethesda game I've ever played was at 30. It just was. I played them all on console. So I understand that, but I want 60 frames. I want a performance mode, and I'm really hoping they give that to us. Am I expecting it, guys? I'll be honest. No, I'm not. Based on what Todd Howard's been saying in interviews, I don't expect it. I don't.
What if they were remastering? They're not remastering, but they're Xbox Series enhancing Fallout 4. What if they are doing that so that they can figure out how they need to implement things on Starfield? They're like, in 2023, because I think it's in 2023, they want the Fallout 4 to get the actual real performance mode on Series S and X. I mean, what if this is, because developers do this all the time, they remaster a game, they make a definitive edition so that they can flex their muscles to make the sequel in the new engine or with the new hardware. It's just strange. I just can't answer that question, because there's too many strong things pointed to where I've heard from people, or I've heard Todd say, I really like 30 FPS. Like, he's just like really preparing you. He's like bundling you up in a blanket and going, 30's nice too. But then there's all these other things where it just technically and physically doesn't make sense.
Right.
Why?
And he's 100% right when he talks about wanting to pick up everything in, the room, the cups, the books, everything. And that is what Bethesda does a lot of. Mm-hmm. And I love that interactivity within their games. But I think in today's day and age, with these consoles, with these tools, they can provide the 60 frames performance mode. They can do it. It's just it's going to be something they have to work for. You put in some work for it. They can do it though. I'm pretty confident.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just picking up all the cups and things. There's so many physical mechanics, and everything is tied together and processed together to make that world more interactive than any other game you play. That's a Bethesda game. If you play 100 hours in a Bethesda game, you'll go to another RPG and go, why can't I do everything?
Yeah.
Why doesn't everything matter? Why can't I kill this person in Whiterun and the repercussions carry throughout, no matter when or where you decided to do that?
Colt, we have over 312 people here today. Hit that like button if you are enjoying the show, people. I appreciate you very much. That is a lot of people. I appreciate you coming today and bringing all these people with you, Colt. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I didn't bring them. Games Talk Live brought them.
Pragmatic Eagle, he says, to the doubters, haters, fanboys, etc., what is the last single player Bethesda game that was bad? I'll wait. I'll wait too.
Oh, I mean, single player. I mean, Fallout 76 was so.
Fallout 76,
Fallout 76 was such a problem. Like, they gave it to the B team. Well, I don't want to say B team. They gave it to the I
don't even want to mention A team or B team or whatever. At the end of the day, Fallout 76
it was a milked process.
Was something that they tried to do, and of course, they're saying that it's gotten better, but I call it a failure. But it wasn't even on my radar when they mentioned.
I've got like 50, 60 hours into it. I've tried it throughout multiple iterations, and as a huge Fallout 4 fan, I mean, I just really don't love. Hargy was in parties with me when I played it for probably 20 hours of my time. Hargy was in party chat with me, and I'm like, Hargy, I've tried. I keep trying. I can't.
I didn't even try it, because when they first announced this and they said it was online multiplayer, I was like, I don't want no part of it. Like, and I love Fallout, but I just didn't want any part of it before it even came out. So before the bad reviews or everything, I was already like, no, that's not for me. I like their single player RPGs, and I'm excited for that. That's it. Hargeet, thank you very much for the super chat. He says, put it this way. Someone wants to watch the next Bond movie and they haven't seen any. You tell them, watch all the old ones first. That's like 25 movies, 50 hours. 50 hours is one game. Halo has 9. So I guess basically what you're trying to say is that for people to really get into it, they'd have to know the original games and play through them and all that. And it's just too much to ask for the younger generation or the new generation of fans, potential fans. And yeah, you're right. It is. But that's why I think they need to completely just do something brand new. I think the Halo of old cannot be recaptured again. And sustain anyway. It just can't. We got the game last year or 2 years ago, Infinite. We all enjoyed it, the campaign. We even all enjoyed about a month or so of the multiplayer, and then we were done. Some people are still enjoying that today, but these are the hardcore fans that really want Halo to survive. And I understand that. I get you, but at the same time, it just can't. It can't in the way it's being made now. It won't sustain. It just won't. Nostalgia, man. I'm telling you, it's that nostalgia. Hargeet's got another super chat here. Here it is. He says, even more interesting will be Mass Effect 4. Will people need to play 1 through 3 to get into 4? Andromeda. How long are those? Food for thought. You know what? You won't even have to play 4. 4 was so removed from the first 3 games, in my opinion anyway. You
mean Andromeda, yeah.
Andromeda, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Andromeda was so removed, you don't need to play Andromeda. No.
No, I mean they're going to kind of what other IP has done that where they just kind of pretend like the other one didn't exist. There's been a couple examples like that.
Or they'll probably make references to the old games and, or maybe even a quick synopsis of what happened in text or whatever, in the past. That they do that in games as well. But at the end of the day, no, you won't have to play those games. And I don't even think you have to play Halo to be a fan of Halo Infinite. But like we talked about earlier, they added the grapple mechanic, and that was a cool thing. And we all gravitated to that. Think about that. all of us who played the game were like, oh man, the grapple is so cool. It's so awesome because they added something new in frickin' Halo. That's why it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was different.
Yeah.
That is why. And I'm a firm believer in that. It's because they changed something up. More needs to be done. That's all I'm saying. But anyways, folks, we will get Starfield eventually. Colt, you say September 2, you think?
My gut tells me they're really close to June, and maybe they ought to make a break where if they can't meet June, they push it to September because July and August are not viable releases for a big AAA game. It needs to land at the end of the year. So that's where I'm sitting. I think it's very fluid right now that they don't quite know. Like it's do or die. Maybe I think we can make it before that first promise.
Yeah.
But if not, we got to push it through the summer because summer would be a waste of a release for marketing and market.
Yeah.
And revenue, which sucks for us. I'll play games all summer long. I'll play them at night.
I know I will too. Like it doesn't bother me to launch a game in the summer, but I totally get why they don't. A lot of people go on vacations and stuff, and they don't sit home and play games. It's just the way it is. Pragmatic Eagle says, no matter what you think about Andromeda, and he's right here, it has by far the best gameplay out of all the Mass Effects.
So good.
100%.
So good.
It really is great. The combat is amazing. That's why I hope they just take the combat from Andromeda, put into Mass Effect 4, and just create a great story around it. Great game.
Yeah. I think they will. Yeah. They'll call back to what made the original great, bring back a couple characters, and give you that true
Fly Guy with the super chat. Thank you very much. He says Halo needs to be more mature. We've said that with realistic graphics. I agree. They need to make it more mature, like Gears, Dead Space, and Callisto Protocol, which I don't think they need to get that realistic with graphics, but it does need to become more mature again.
Yeah, it needs to be gory. It needs to be. You need to be afraid. I was not afraid of many of the enemies.
No, not at all.
In Halo Infinite.
But this direct coming up this Wednesday, guys, 12 p.m. That's Pacific time, I believe. Or is it 9 p.m. Pacific time?
I need to look because
9 a.m. It's 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m.
Oh,
Eastern.
geez, on the Wednesday?
Yes. So
I thought it was like noon. I was thinking about that today.
So that'll be this Wednesday, guys. So check that out from Xbox. I think that anything you think.
Wait, no, it says fans should. Are you talking about Developer Direct?
Yeah. When is it?
12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern.
PM. Okay, 12 p.m. Pacific. Don't want to get that wrong. 3 p.m. Eastern. This.
Oh gosh, I hope work's not busy because I would like to take some time off to make sure that it doesn't get in the way.
Do you think there will be any surprises at all? I don't think so.
But... Yes. No.
Oh,
yes.
Really?
Okay. I think two small ones. Very small. Very small.
I
think that's why Aaron Greenberg wanted to. This is just me. Aaron Greenberg wanted to set expectations, so you know that they're going to show those 4 games there: Elder Scrolls Online, Minecraft Legends, Forza Motorsport, and Redfall. But I think there's a possibility that maybe they'll tease ZeniMax's new IP they've been working on for over a year or two.
Yeah,
and then Jeff Grubb thinks it's quite possible that they could announce Hi-Fi Rush, the Jet Set Radio style multiplayer brawler from Tango Gameworks, which is just
Rush. Yep, that's what we're gonna get.
Just something really like, oh, that's cool, that's coming. Think of it as, I don't know about how big ZeniMax's game could be. Maybe that could be cool, but if it's another fantasy RPG that just feels like another Elder Scrolls Online, I mean, I don't think they would do that.
Yeah.
But Hi-Fi Rush, to think about it, so, I'll try that on Game Pass. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not for me. Hot Grits,
it's a small thing.
Hot Grits 910, thank you for the super chat. They say, what if Halo's graphics looked like the cinematics? Well, didn't it kind of look like the cinematics?
Well, I mean, they were all in engine. They mean the 2019 thing, but I don't know what they did wrong, but Halo 5 and Halo 4 look 10 times better than Halo Infinite, I think.
In a way, they do. Yeah,
they're much shinier, much more like visually striking, more cinematic. There's some really beautiful
I thought Halo 4 was a bit more realistic looking as well. I liked it.
It had that really soft, glowing, like light bloom in it. And then Halo 5 had some really high quality detail and big, expansive scenery and a lot of diverse locations you went to. You went to like 5 different areas throughout the campaign. Then Halo Infinite didn't. So
yeah,
they just got over their heads and they couldn't get scope figured out properly.
Well,
their problem.
Colt, we've reached the end of the show, guys. We're going to cut it now. We're going to be leaving this studio now. Guys, thank you very much for showing up today. I appreciate each and every one of you for coming out. And those of you listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff, thank you very much for listening. Colt, let everybody know where they can find you.
Find me on the Ecstasy podcast tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific time, where we'll talk about some more of this stuff and got a special guest on, so we'll have a good time. But thank you so much, Fonz. It's good hanging out with you.
HD says Hi-Fi Rush, unknown to the world. Fonz, not for me.
It's not for me.
Telling me that it's a what did they say it was the type of game it was?
Multiplayer rhythm-based brawler.
Brawler. That's not for me, Delilah. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad game at all. It's not for me. You want me to tell you what a bad game is? Forspoken, Delilah. Forspoken. I played the demo. It's bad. It's real bad.
What's your Metacritic prediction as we roll out of here?
Oh, that one? I think it's going to get in the high 60s. Honestly, it'll be high 60s for that. Yeah. I think it'll be the worst PlayStation game that we've seen in a while. I think it's going to be pretty bad. Thank you for the thumbs down, by the way. Somebody just gave me a thumbs down. I seen it float away. Anyways, it's so funny how they fly. The thumbs up and thumbs down on my program. You can see it just goes. Pew.
This free content was not for me. That's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. I still love you. Anyways, guys, thanks for showing up.
And then that person right at the end of the show will go, "Where's the timestamps?" This is right when you hit end.
Starfield. That's for the people that wanted it. Ace Out Gaming. I see you. Starfield. Calling it the whole show, please. Starfield will be great at 30 FPS. Don't you worry. It'll still be good. Starfield will be better than Forspoken, that's for sure. Starfield! All right, anyways. Let's go. All right. Until next time, guys, game on.